Hello and welcome to Preparing to Subscribe and Thrive Homesteading channel. What I have going on today, I've got my first harvest of green beans. Ta-da! I'm very excited. I love being able to have enough space that I can grow green beans, and some of them were actually kind of big and thick, so I'm going to put these out to dry and have them for seed. Do I know what kind they are? No. Anywhere from what I planted last year to the green, tender green beans. And I have these little bit of what I cut off, some bug infested ones. Well, they're not infested, just bug bit ones. They're going to go to the worms. So nothing gets wasted in this house. So I do not know how much this is going to make, but I'm going to start filling jars. They're getting washed. I'm going to do them in pints. And with green beans, you have to pressure can them. You cannot water bath, at least not according to the good standards of canning green beans. I've had people say you can water bath them, but you have to cook them for 3 hours, and that's a lot of propane. So I think I'll just do them for 70 minutes in pint jars on 10 pounds pressure. So I'll be back when I get the jars washed up, and we will work on stuffing them together. Talk with you soon. Okay, so I have pint jars, and I've started filling them. I have more than what's in this strainer, as you can see. They're just soaking in some cold water. And if you look in the background, you can also see I have a tea kettle heating some very hot water that I'm going to pour over these guys. So when I go to determine how much food I want to put back for winter, I say, well, the three of us that live here in the house can eat a pint jar of green beans in about one setting. There might be a little bit left, and then they will go for lunch with my husband. So there's 52 weeks in a year, so I need at least 52 cans, and then I double it. I'd rather be prepared and have extra on hand in case family comes over, and I'd have to open up two, or I'd have friends or family. So I end up doing at least 104 jars of whatever I'm putting away. Now, if my harvest does not come in that strong, then I will just supplement with something else. Last year, my green beans was amazing. I put so many of them away that I had more than 104 jars. And I still have a good bit, so I won't have to worry about getting that many of them sold. Also with these, I push them down with my knuckles as hard as I can so I can get as much as I can. I try to leave them about this far down, about a half an inch headspace for a pint. And I'm going to get these stuffed, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Half or or about an inch to 2 inches, I figure. So you can see them. So I have 9 jars full. I still have more green beans, so I'm washing more jars. But what I'm going to be putting in them is a half a teaspoon of, I use Himalayan salt. Just level it out a little bit. Okay. And 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. Yep, sorry, I'm going to shove this in your face. Not everybody puts white vinegar or anything there in their green beans. Some people just put plain water. I will put water in here. I just, for some reason, have always been told to add a little bit of white vinegar or apple cider vinegar into your things that you're crock potting that do not have enough acidity in them. That was a little bit less. There we go. So our next item is our hot water from the tea kettle. Just going to fill up the jars. Oh, it's very hot. If you can see the steam coming. Just going to do the first 3. And I'm going to take my butter knife and just make sure that these 3 are not going to need more water. See, some of the green beans have floated up a little bit. This one just needs a touch more water. There we go. Go off to fill up the next 3. I will more than likely run out of water, so I'll have to set this up for the tea kettle again. Last year, my daughter convinced me to put some onions and garlic in here to add some taste to it. However, I didn't really see the taste difference. So this year I'm just doing them straight. Just plain green beans with a little bit of salt and a little bit of white vinegar. So have you started growing your green beans? Are you in the climate that you would be growing your green beans now, or maybe putting in a second harvest of them? Remember, if you let the weeds come up a little bit, it will help keep the bugs from eating your green beans, and they'll just focus on the weeds that they like to eat. I only had 2 or 3 beans that actually had bug bites in them. Now, there's a few on the leaves, but most of the bugs were eating the purple amaranth or the lamb's quarter. I'll be back shortly. So while I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and waiting for the tea kettle to finish heating. I'm going to go ahead and wipe my jars off. And start putting our ball lids on them. Now remember, with ball, you want them finger tight. You don't want to go like this, manhandle. You just want to do it finger tight, just like that. Now I'm using 2 different lids here, even though I said I would never use my Tattlers and pressure canner again. I actually have a lot of them that did seal, and they're still sealed. So I'm going to wipe my jar off, a little bit of vinegar water, put my lid on with my gasket, and my lid. Put my finger here and I just turn this, and you can see that this jar is actually going around in circles. So there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these sealed up, and we'll be back to put them in the pressure canner. I should end up with almost 2 full rows. Okay, so I'm out here. I've got my 2 inches of water in my canner. It took me about a gallon to get in there. This is a Tefal not my All-American. So I can get normally 8 jars in here if I don't dump them all out of the pan I have them in. So I put my first set of 8 jars in there, and they are sitting on a little plate that lifts it up so the jars are not sitting directly on the heat of the pan. I'm going to go get the other 8 ready, and we'll be ready to get it boiling. Now I have both types of lids in here, the Tattlers, which is the white one, and the Ball, which is the middle one. So we're going to see how they go. We're going to pray that they are all going to seal. And I'm putting the other tray so I can get my other 8 jars in there. So I ended up with 7 more jars. I also did throw in a splash of vinegar just to help keep the jars clean. And this one right here in the center, that's just plain water. I didn't have enough green beans to fill it, but you'll definitely want to keep do the full set of 8 in there so nothing rattles and shifts as the bottom water starts to boil. So I'm going to put on my lid here. It's hard to do with just 2 hands or with 1 hand. So we're going to latch this up nice and tight. I am going to put this so it will squirt out a little bit of steam for 10 minutes, and then when 10 minutes comes about, I will flip it to 1 for 10 pounds of pressure. We'll be back when we are done processing our first harvest of green beans for 2022. So, well, I always say so, and I seem to always say well also. So, the green beans are done. I checked everything. All of them sealed, including our Tattler lids. Ta-da! See, they hang. Now, to be on the safe side, I probably will end up using these before anything else. There's our ball. So, we're all done. If you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe. We may help each other. You may help somebody else. I'll be seeing you soon. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you later.